بس بیا ویډیو چوله خو د مرکوس وغیم د دنیا مرکوس وغیم هرچی که میتیاس وکما کوری وانا که بیا خروپ شوله بیا که خروپ شوله به شروع بسی که دیلوگ کایا وان بسگی ساکسا چاکم چه غرط ساقم سا خدمت شی سیش رات تلما دیره که هاتو روشم کنه ولفن لافته و دستی لوهن رشی لوهن ساکسا وکم هسه اپلو هاتا مرستلی ویتیرر سی ولفن لافته شروع ما اوتا لور بیت اغا ورکه مسرا برولا بستي وينتر كيشو ستي داخل خاطر جام سو كده جامع وشفا يدخل لو جامع ستي بيختار ما خلينا نتراك بيختار نجد لو بس وشفا او بركان جاهو قد خانو بيدو سو كل ما كتشي واي سغتا مخشوش بيارنا يرشو هولاند ايش احمد دي بتبيني بيري سياسة درك سوشو صدق صدق من توديوا مخ بپینتاس علاقم صدق صدق کو باندې کوله صدق صدق کې باندې کم چې و به والا شل سکند را دوتر تم چوبه والا Aggiortoli bala kan basut koşani çatalı ki spiel wurde nicht aufgezeichnet. Ayartoli kalo. Bala kan tanam bala kan khurba shfaga che. Aggiortoli kal. Che video che to che zar akas roga esiyor bidan. Çana tam video bnama. Evet pia gol gan kovala şo sti de salar salah kham tershvam. Bida salah kham tershvam. Salah kham tershvam. Nadar shmachko nadar shamas tershvam. وتقدر شام ترشم وقدر شام ترشم بس به شپږ دېرش منټه کې سیمه باندې کوم مخکې به 32 کوله بس شپږ دېرش شپږ دېرش 50 پر ایګال هغه شپږ دېرش منټه 50 سکند ته سیمه خروله مو ته وړي باندې کوم ستي بس اساس vorbei ich kann nicht mehr Digga ich kann einfach nicht mehr da بلشم 15 بلشم فیرم نه دی بلشم فیرم نه بلشم 15 خو دا کنه والا ورکوي والا نه خربه کېږي باید کمپلیټ فل یو کم ته ویډیو کتل ایستیا ته لیکل چې ویډیو شپاشن شوله اس ثابت نه خو بس کس کنه ورکوي خراب دی نه دی بلشم شپږ چې یو ته په مړ شانته بوما یو ته په پرابلم کې ته به سیده کرے کنه یو کړه بس بیا ډېره غټه جامه هو کتر شولو زردی کسه کنه یو کړه غټه کلوړه مطلب خو زه مجبور یم چې بیا سونی اس نه د شیټ بچ دی یازي کې بیا وګره مطلب اوس د ویډیو وکړه سیس خبره نه ده چې د ویډیو کنه وکړه اس یو چې وشو سید دوانه نو شي یا هغه کې دوانه سیاست او کا تر اوسه کیږي کړو اس کیږي رغلم خاطر ویډیو شي ته نه درې کا سره منټه سم ویډیو شي د په وکړه اس تی مخ شپږ د منټه کومه و د منټه نه رسومه ځکه چې دا شپږ منټه شي سپه کیږي یو کم ټون 30 منټه په مرکز یو هم صالح منټه نه و ته درشم نه کومه یو مخ شپږ د منټه 50 سکند و د منټه نه رسومه سبا کې سم نشم کړای
Farewell, heir to the knighthood of Boreas. Whether you choose to resist me or not, I shall set right the injustices of this world. In the name of the blood-stained knight.
Guess they're retreating for now.
So that Wolf of the North look-alike, that was Andreas? But why would he be leading the wild hunt? And why was he talking about the Bloodstained Knight? Forget that. We can save the details for later. He was the enemy boss, right? Are we just gonna let him get away?
There's no point chasing after him. We've crossed blades already, and it ended in a stalemate. Right now, there's nothing we could do about him. True. We're still not certain of his true identity, but whether he's a god corrupted by the Abyss or a legendary knight... killing him might be just about possible, especially now that you're here. The difficult part is, we can't kill him right now.
Huh? What do you mean? Is he immortal or something?
No. Judging from our skirmishes so far, I don't think he's got any special abilities of that caliber. Nor does he have the ridiculous level of power wielded by the 5 sinners. But, compared to Rerir, our current foe clearly has a better understanding of how to exploit Nodcry to his advantage. Particularly when it comes to Andrias' remnant soul. Exactly. Sounds like you realize what the crux of the issue is. I managed to cut off a sample from our foe, which Albedo and Durin are analyzing as we speak. Meanwhile, our other allies should be making their way home from their own battles by now. Let's discuss this further when they're back. We still have some big challenges ahead before this expedition can finally be declared a victory.
Basta gara kukane waklo ni Joda khashol musallah safmata basi daha شپږ دېرش منټه 15 سکندې 15 شپږ دېرش منټه کې 11 سکندې چې ودې سیو ډېر مخمنه کوم Famonius Festum wow
Osmanthus.
Vine, come on. Vine. Acho que dá sempre que deixa na forma cai شوي لسه وینه کم کدله به میګ وینه ورکول لاس نه دی چې جنگ کړي مطلب نورمال سولټر وو څومره خبرو او دې سرویسي او دته کړه بس نه غالي ده غازي وده غافر كده هي هذا اللغة هذا كما تقول يكون من يوجد السنة ميكي إيه أنا قلت هذا يا تقاسي ده
Gonna be in the biggest tent, right? Looks like a bunch of people are there already. Why don't we go chat with them?
يعني رر وخا فترى غادي نرر في ونتاغو خول دوغين أخا نقص بلوتشتو البريو خول شاخا تاغو لاجياتي جدا دل شيء بيشكل أنا organizzazione che io ci dal garib raunti da cui vestiti nel kai wala chidina ni baka ta gashi wala da
Hey, good to see you again. Oh, Boss Sneff asked me to pass on a message. She went to see Lauma and Columbina at the Frost Moon Scions. Apparently, there haven't been any changes to that space the Rahir of Solnari's in. That means the recent wild hunt attacks have nothing to do with Riri, right? Whew, that's a relief. Paimon doesn't fancy facing him again. They're keeping a close watch on it just in case. With so many moon experts on the case, we're in pretty safe hands, huh?
adamlar ندور الشك بارتيكو شغله ده بيقال كفرن ديمون
Oh yeah, Lauma and Columbina asked me to pass on a message too. Focus on the enemy you are facing. The moon will protect you all. You know something? These Knights of Favonius are paying me a pretty nice sum to deliver a few simple messages. Oh, Varka's a generous guy.
فده فرنسا ولا فلازم ولا
Short distance propulsion module on cooldown. 15 minutes until next departure. Switching to chat mode. Hello there, Paimon, traveler. Varka placed a sizable order with the Clink Clink Krumkake craft shop. Aino is hard at work producing the strategic reserve, while I am handling the deliveries. Secondly, I am also here to attend the meeting in her place.
The Lightkeeper's rep will be Iqua or Nikita.
اللوجو لما يجي بص مزيكا شتاي الله انا كان شكري اللوجو لما يجي
You're quite right. However, Itlua and Nikita are both busy organizing the Ratniki's region-wide response to the recent attacks. And since I'm well acquainted with everyone else here, I was the one they recommended to attend the meeting. Sometimes you don't get a choice when there might be consequences down the line.
Boring!
No sé si...
Hey, Honorary Knight. Looks like pretty much everyone's here. Albedo and Durin are just wrapping up their analysis. You want to wait for them here? Great. While we're waiting, could you update me on the situation in Mondstadt? And that's where things stand. The Wild Hunt is no longer under the Reikir of Solnari's control, but it has been reborn from the ashes and is now launching widespread attacks.
Creo que en Albedo.
Intel from the Frostmoon Scions and the Curatorium of Secrets corroborates this. No disturbances have been detected in the space where Rere resides. What we are facing here is a completely new foe.
Summarizing current situation. To confirm, the present leader of the Wild Hunt is the creature resembling a wolf. Andrius, god of the North Wind.
More precisely, it's the external will that has seized control of Andrius' spirit, namely Roland, the Bloodstained Knight.
Whoa. Hold on. I'm completely lost. Isn't Roland some Mondstadter from like 500 years ago? How'd he suddenly get wrapped up with a god from 1,000 years in the past and the present-day Wild Hunt?
Allow us to explain that part. Are you familiar with compensation mechanisms? When an organism sustains damage, relevant tissues will undergo changes to offset the loss of function. For example, when one kidney is damaged, the other will be strengthened to compensate. Or, when a main artery is blocked, the collateral vessels become more active. Similarly, when the Wild Hunt lost their leader, the Abyss harnessed the memories that flow throughout the ley lines to fashion a new one, fit for the present circumstances. That new leader is a mirror image of Roland, the Bloodstained Knight.
Right. No matter how strong the compensation is, it will never quite match the functionality of the original organ. The Roland replica can't possibly imitate Rarir's overwhelming power, nor his ability to disguise himself as others. So, the Abyss made use of the connection between Roland and Boreas to compensate for this lack of power.
The replica corrupted and took control of Andreas as he slumbered by the bank of Amsvartnir, ultimately manifesting as the giant beast that you all witnessed.
Wait, Roland rechteba Hatinke nor Kraken Jango Agota Silord Kanri at Ota si Marsh motherfucking Gali Chamar Ota si Marsh Roland Ota Marsho.
However, exactly why the Abyss chose Roland to mimic, and indeed how it was able to do so, remains unclear.
I guess he must have gotten caught up with the Abyss or Nodcry somehow during his wanderings through Tevat. But we can keep those questions on the back burner.
Okay, Paimon gets all that, but what did you mean when you said we can't kill him right now?
We can't kill him right now because a dead god may prove more dangerous than a living one. From intelligence gathered during the expedition, we have reason to believe that the power released when a god is felled can have catastrophic consequences for us mortals. Worse still, the wrath that remains after a god's passing becomes a source of endless turmoil. Once god remains contaminate the land, they will persist for thousands of years.
Tatarikami Ofiashiro und Tatarasuma. Auri lekachara Schlange kana Aichamrakra. Oder Chipratado. Yachi Yaki Tubles and Karauzakasti Shetska Panis Mrakra. Auda Holy the Cook.
This land has already been ravaged by the Wild Hunt. If we add god remains to the mix, it'd be like adding salt to an open wound, placing everyone who lives here in perilous danger.
Query. While I can indeed find records of disasters caused by god remains in my database, there also appear to be cases of gods dying naturally with no ill effects. In that land, the passing of the Pyro Archon's flame is a common occurrence throughout history, and even the part of Andreas who remains in Mondstadt has experienced death once before, has he not?
Great question. Glad you asked. Honorary Knight, you said Lupus Boreas gave you a token to pass on to me? Please, present it now. It should help explain things faster. Come forth, Boreas!
This form has come to the end of its time. I'm afraid I can accompany you no further on your journey. My soul will fall into silence, and my power will flow into the ley lines of this land. Perhaps this is all that a wolf can hope to do for humankind. Do not grieve for me, for this is the end I have chosen. Instead, remember that one day, your wandering too must come to an end. Where and when shall that be? A final wish before I slumber. Sing me a song. That melody you so often hummed in the taverns.
You saw it too. You must have keen powers of perception. Not that it surprises me. That was Boreas' final thoughts before merging with the ley lines. It's the reason Mondstadt remains unharmed by his god remains. In his final moments, he made a choice to give everything he was to the ley lines. All to protect Mondstadt from harm.
sounds like Andreas spent thousands of years searching for his place in the world, too.
Yes. And now our task is to return the answer he found, the decision he made, to Andreas' heart. Only then can he break free from the corruption and control of the Abyss, and make that decision once more.
I see. I would say that planting thoughts inside the mind of a god sounds a little far-fetched, but since it was his own wish to begin with, it sounds feasible to me.
Wait, we already have a perfect solution? Then why are we even having this meeting? Let's go do this thing!
If only it were that simple. Unfortunately, this one thought alone is unlikely to be powerful enough to break through the Abyss's control and reach Andreas' heart. We need to find a way to make the thought within this sword stronger and more resilient.
For now, Boreas needs all his remaining strength to fight against the abyssal corruption to Mondstadt's ley lines. He can't afford to send us any more of his power. However, since his form was unstable during his journey with the first Knight of Boreas, many wolf spirit fragments were left behind along the way. If we can collect those fragments, we can use them to strengthen the decision to merge with the ley lines.
So we need to retrace his steps and look for random fragments? But they could be anywhere between Nodcry and Mondstadt. It'll be like looking for a needle in a haystack.
You don't need to worry about that. There's a few fragments left to gather in Nodcry, but apart from that... most of them are already inside this sword. I've been collecting them during the whole expedition.
Huh? Wait, really?
I mean, it's an expedition, not a stroll in the park. Each step of the way, we've been hard at work planning for every possible contingency.
Aha. Wir haben Eisenstadt. Es ist eine Expedition, keine Spaziergang im Park. Demonstrierte Tengan George Michael Hutchway. Also, Schuhe besser, ich dachte, es wird ein Spaziergang, ein Spielplatz. Ja, Fahrer oder so. Egal, Spark das Minute, können sehen, Spark das Minute, ich würde kommen. Ich bin so das Minute, aber fuck it, Digga.